What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shot Sports Podcast. Grab a drink, snack. This is your weekly dose of sports, where we'll break down and do a deep dive on the world of sports. Whether you're a casual fan or a diehard, we're here to bring you the latest, the best analysis, and the hottest takes. Subscribe, share, even leave a comment. We appreciate all the feedback. Smash the like button for us. Tap the notification bell on the right so you'll be notified whenever we drop, so you won't miss one. So we got on the show today Nazir Spencer and
Yo,
Chris Pittner. We do have a guest, one of Nazir Spencer's contacts, so he's going to join him in a second. But how's y'all weekend?
it was good, man. We gonna have a lot of good basketball coming up, in person and over TV with the Thunder and Pacers. We got a tournament we gonna talk about in a second, but it's gonna be a good weekend, and we had a good one this past one. So, U.S. Women's Open just ended. That was fun, and yeah, we're looking forward to some more sports.
What I love to say, street signs. But
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
for a while, bro.
We'll get to it.
What about you, Chris?
Brewers are red hot right now. I think I'm going to the game on Saturday this week. 8 in a row right now. Still in third in the division, but big win last night in Cincinnati. We're feeling good.
All right, so we have a guest on the show today.
Max.
All right, go ahead, Nazir, introduce him.
Max Kuhner. Let me tell you guys who this guy is. He's a standout guard from the University of Illinois Springfield in the 2023-24 season. Started all 31 games, averaging 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist per game. Notably led the Great Lakes Conference in three-point percentage at 47.8%, ranking third nationally in NCAA Division II. Now listen, he also is having this tournament that we're going to explain very well on. Max, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course, man. Listen, before we get to any of the tournament stuff, I want to talk about you. Your three-point shooting was elite last year and nearly 48% from the deep. You know, what training or mindset contributes to your consistency from beyond the arc? Like, what do you do, man?
Like you said, consistency. It's exactly that. Just being consistently in the gym every single day, knowing that not every single day is going to be perfect. You're not going to go in there and shoot the ball exactly how you want to every single day. But, when you're stacking days, that's really all that matters. And that kind of really helped me progress. I started out my career in Hawaii, shot like 37% from three. Like you said, my junior year, I shot 48% from three. I was right around 40% again this year. I broke the school record in just 3 years in Illinois Springfield for threes in a career. But, just being in the gym every day, working extremely hard, being consistent, and just, when I came into college, I had goals of doing exactly, breaking the school records and stuff like that. So having stuff like that set out ahead really helped me, push me in the gym every single day. But, mostly just using the shooting machine, working on my footwork a lot. You probably know Jack Golke, March Madness legend. Talked to him about some footwork stuff. He just gave me some stuff like that. So that's really it.
Yeah, noted. I went to high school with Jack Golke. Max transferred to Brookfield Academy down the street, and Arizona as well. So it was Jack Golke's. He's a good friend of all of ours. Shout out him. And Max, you got this tournament, this local tournament that everyone's excited about every single year to come out and play. I've been going to it every single year since you guys started, and I just want to ask you, what inspired you to start this tournament? I mean, I know when we were younger, it was just a little cool driveway game, and we all would play a little bit. But now it's become a little bit bigger. You got high schoolers involved, other college players involved, people across the local area involved. What inspired you to do something like that, man?
Honestly, I was a huge March Madness fan growing up as a kid, and I just wanted to try and captivate like the craziness. Wanted to try and put that in my driveway, with my buddies, and we all wanted the upsets and the crazy plays and buzzer beaters and stuff like that. So, like you said, it just started out with like 8 teams. It's grown to we got 34 teams this year. It's gotten pretty crazy over the years. So I'd say I've kind of captured March Madness and put it in our own backyard for the most part.
And you got any memories that you can kind of share a little bit with the other two here, Jalen and Chris, that you could kind of remember and give them kind of an example of why this tournament is so fun?
I would say, I mean, the most memorable tournament I would say was the COVID year. We had like 4 or 5 dudes who went on to play Division II or Division III college basketball. Luke Harrell's at South Dakota State now. He went to Wisconsin out of high school. Ashton Janowski's playing D2, carrying D2, and I played as well. I think that was like probably the most competitive players and stuff like that. But Brandon Podzinski showed up last year. We've had Mike Foster from Milwaukee show up before. I don't know. It's just great to get the community together. There's like 105, 110 people there every year to watch people play 2v2 basketball in the driveway. So like we're all kids again. I say that's the most important part.
Absolutely. Chris, you got any questions? Jalen, any questions real quick?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, has there been like any major upsets per se, like to the March Madness idea, like any of those D1, D2, D3 players going down to just some random guy off the street, pretty much type idea?
Yeah, we actually had a couple last year. We had some D3 kids we have like 4 or 5 D3 kids from Whitewater. And again, but one of their teams lost. They were like a 4 seed. They lost to a 13 seed to 2 kids that didn't even play varsity basketball. And in the past, we had a 15 seed beat a 2 seed. Keontae Clay, who's from Milwaukee. I don't know if you guys know him. Their team got upset in the first round by a couple of kids from Waukesha.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. I know Earl Lewis from Whitewater. I think he's there. Did you play under him too?
Yeah, he was our graduate assistant this year. He trained me after the season as well, getting me ready to go play professionally overseas. So, yeah, Earl's my guy.
Yeah, Earl's a good guy, man. He loves being a coach and love bringing people out of their game and just being fun all around. Shout out Earl, man. But
he trained. He was with what is that? Connor Season.
Yeah,
yeah. Shout out Earl, man.
He knows exactly what he's talking about for real.
We'll get him on eventually too. He's a good dude. Now back to just kind of the collegiate hoops and like the bigger picture. As a collegiate athlete, how do you view the current state of college basketball, especially with the changes from NIL deals and the transfer portal? What's your opinion on all that?
That's a good question.
I use the transfer portal to my advantage. I think it's pretty good. However, I think there needs to be some limitations set on it. Just personally, the transferring year after year is a pretty crazy thing to me. I don't know how kids do that, but the NIL I think is really good as well. But that needs some limitations as well because, there's no reason for kids to really stay in a spot for more than a year.
Right.
If you can just leave and get, especially the big kids. The Cooper Flags and the guys like that, they deserve to be getting paid. But when you're just transferring school to make a couple million every year, I feel like it just takes away from what college basketball is really meant to be, which is, kids, are they going to school? The whole thing of college basketball is supposed to be, you're there for 4 years, you're trying to chase championships and stuff and build a program that way. But it's good, but I also think it needs to be limited.
Any questions real quick before I get to my last two, Chris and Jalen?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about your process in going pro and how the hiring the agent process has worked and just how really you've navigated that so far.
Yeah, so as soon as the season ended, a lot of guys on Twitter following me, on Instagram and stuff like that, agents. And the biggest thing is just who are you most comfortable with? My assistant coach, Adam Everhard, played overseas for a couple of years, so he was really good helping me out with that. And ultimately, I ended up going the he was with just because I with him, and I knew this guy was going to be trustworthy and he was going to do a great job for me. And so basically, next step is I got the agent like a month and a half ago and now he's got all these connections overseas. Teams will be reaching out to him saying, hey, we need this kind of a player. If I fit the bill for them, then he'll send them my stuff. And then if they're interested, start talking to me and stuff like that and maybe go out and work out with them if needed. And then eventually, and probably towards the end of July, sign a contract.
Yeah, that was my question. Yeah, I was thinking about where you going pro. So.
And then which NBA player do you study or draw inspiration from, man? Because, I've seen you play, and I don't know exactly who you study because you have such a unique, style of play. So I really want to know, who's your guy that you really look up to, or guys? It can be multiple.
Yeah, growing up in high school, I really looked up to Tyler Hero just because he was in the area, excuse me. But JJ Redick, I would say as well. I'm not the most athletic player, so just being realistic in who I look up to in my game can really help me, watch film and train like that. So I'd say JJ Redick, Tyler Hero, the biggest two.
Did you ever work out with Tyler? I know he was in the area a bunch, and his brothers are now grown up a little bit and going to college and stuff. Like, were you able to get around them a little bit and kind of work out with them?
No, I never was really involved with the Heroes at all, but looked up to them a lot.
All right, man. Listen, anything else you want to tell us about the Cooner Classic coming up this weekend? Anything else? Anything we didn't touch on today?
Nothing. Feel free to pop out. Got food, drinks, everything for the community. So come on out if you guys want to.
Who you got winning the finals?
Here's one.
Say it again. You lagged a little bit. 1 second.
I got the Pacers.
Oh man! Look here. See, Jalen's been on the Pacer train since the playoffs started. After he beat the Bucks, I should say, and he ain't been letting it go. We had this debate about the street signs.
Street signs. I tell you about the Knicks, boy.
Now, real quick, Max. Do you think it's a big deal that the Knicks put up street signs for Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, all those guys? Do you think that's a big deal? Because Jalen says it's corny, that they didn't win nothing. I'm sitting there thinking like they just supporting.
There's no issue with
just
it.
Ask their fans. Their fans are turning on that now.
Okay, their fans aren't great, but I'm saying though they supporting their team, bro. I need your opinion on that, Max, because I'm strong on that. I don't think it's a big deal.
I mean, I don't have a problem with what I know in a city like New York. If it's championship or bust out there, so I'm assuming they're going to be pretty hard on those guys in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
See? They've already been turning on them about the street signs. They said we ain't won yet.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Where have you seen it? I have not seen that anywhere.
I don't see it nowhere.
You gotta go in their comments. You gotta start going in their comments. They say, "Yeah, we celebrated too soon." Like it's a whole bunch of it in there. They're turning on it.
Man, whatever, dog. Hey, Max, my miscellaneous question that I wanted to ask: do you think you could take anybody in the NBA one-on-one, like right now? Like if you could pick one person to go and want to play 1v1 against somebody, it could be NBA or college. Do you think who would you want that that spotlight against?
I don't know. People realize how good they are, but I don't know. Maybe like an Austin Reeves or something like that. I'd play just to say I played against them. I don't know, but I don't think I could beat them.
Hey, it'd be fun though. That's the only reason I asked, because I wanted to see who you would want to go 1v1 with. I didn't say you would win, but I want to know who you think that you'd have fun with. But that's cool though. But listen, Max, we're gonna be there this weekend. Looking forward to covering it for you and getting all the social media side for you while you're working, being the commission stuff. Congratulations on your next chapter in your life with overseas, and I'll see you on Saturday, and looking forward to this weekend and see where you go in the future.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. No, it was nice meeting you.
Anytime.
Meet you guys.
So that was Max Coonart. He does a classic for what is it? What is the classic again?
Cooner Classic. I've been doing it for years, man, since we were in middle school, and I've always just been there, and I played like one season, I think, but it wasn't like we didn't keep stats or nothing to it yet. So he, every year since he wanted to take it a little bit more serious, we started in my friend Ryan's driveway, and Ryan and him live like right down the street from each other, like the neighborhood is like literally across the street. So they just walked back over to his house, and Max decided to have it in his driveway because it was a little bit more of a better setting. Like Ryan's driveway was a little bit up a hill, and Max was like on the ground, so it was a little bit easier to navigate. So we started it there and then moved over to Max's house, and he's been super, super cool about everything, and he's a great commissioner. He makes all these rules. You can go look at his social media, Cooner Classic on Instagram, and the Cooner Classic on Instagram, and he got a whole set of rules, just what you can and cannot wear. takes it very serious. You know, if you win, you win the trophy. I think you win maybe a little bit of money. I forget. But it's fun. It's a cool thing to get people coming back together in the community, and it's really awesome. I applaud him for that for making it this big.
I know I've seen the Instagram before, and he's got like watch lists for like MVP and stuff like that. It's just that's a fun way to go about it for sure, and it adds a bit of like it adds a bit of seriousness to like just a fun backyard game, and I like that.
Man, it's it gets competitive, man. Like if he has rankings for the 32 teams that are involved, and people get like heated if they're like super low. So it makes their play a little bit better too, and it makes a whole bunch of things just better. So it starts early in the morning on Saturday. I'll be there all weekend. Took off of work to go do it because it's a great local thing that he does, and I like to be a part of it. I run the interviews on the side, so before and after games, I interview people, see how their mindset's going. But after interviews are really good, really cool, and get their two teams to sit down and talk to them in the mic and just make sure everyone's having a good time. So it'll be fun though. You guys should keep a lookout on it. I wanted to get a live stream on it, but I don't know if we had the necessities to do so this year, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, get some content. We can put that on the podcast and talk about it on Tuesday and stuff. So
for sure,
be cool. So we're gonna jump into our first topic. Obviously, as everyone knows, Pacers Thunder will be in the finals, but we're gonna also going to recap Pacers Knicks in Game 6. So street signs no more. We have Thunder Pacers finals. That's beautiful to say if you're a basketball fan, because you know this could be one of the best things that could really like bring the game of basketball back out instead of worried about what names are in it. If you're a basketball fan, you are happy to see that there are two teams that are highly powered offense and that has good defense. So the Indiana Pacers looked good in Game 6. They won 125-108. So can we now start having that conversation as well that Halliburton is turning into a superstar?
Listen, bro, real quick before we even get to that part, I got something to say. Get off my chest real quick. Bro, NBA fans are the worst fans. And
KD said it.
Bro, the worst fans in the world. Listen, if you love basketball, this is the finals that you really, really are excited about. I mean, I understand Thunder Knicks would have been very exciting to me. Timberwolves Knicks would have been very, very exciting. But, bro, Pacers, Thunder, or Pacers, Timberwolves, that's still great basketball. We're watching great basketball, bro. And if you're a basketball fan, you don't care who plays in these finals, bro. You want to see good basketball. You want to see a superstar emerge or a superstar sustain his name in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And you just want that to happen, bro. NBA fans are the worst, bro. They want first they complain about the Celtics and the Warriors being in the finals, and the Nuggets being in the finals with the Heat was horrible apparently. And then no one complained about the Bucks Suns. I don't know exactly why, but because I think
people did. I still think
people did.
I didn't
see it as much because
we're in the local area, so I didn't see it that much. You know,
right? Chicago was also in that kind of area where you were like, okay, screw it, you'd want to see somebody close to win, and
right.
People in Chicago. It's supposed to be a rivalry between the Bucks and the Bulls, but
it ain't really a rivalry.
The thing about the Bucks and the Bulls is they're never good at the same time.
Right.
The Bulls are really good. The Bucks are terrible, and when the Bucks are really good, the Bulls are terrible.
Right. So it's like people like Giannis around here. So around Chicago. So
yeah. So for that superstar question, I still want to put him there, but he didn't even win the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, which I don't think he should have won it anyways. But if you're not winning that, how can you still label him as a superstar? I know he made it to this.
Tatum didn't win Finals MVP either.
You said what?
Tatum didn't win Finals MVP, and they call him a superstar.
Yeah, but he has all the first team All NBAs and all that shine over there for making that team good because he is the best player. It's just last year he wasn't the best player on the team during the time. But
what I'll say as a big Tyrese Halliburton fan as of late, I've now become a big fan of Tyrese Halliburton. I will say that he's not there yet, but he's on his way there. Because now people will start to actually like put some respect on his name. Voters will start looking at his games more, so he might actually start getting more NBA all teams coming up soon. He wasn't receiving that stuff because of where he was at, how his gameplay was. Can he win a finals? Now that he went back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals, he was the best player in both of those. I'm going to say the best player in both of those series, but he was turning the curve last year. He was the best player in the Eastern Conference Finals by far. I don't care what anyone says. Jalen Brunson was great, but he put up a lot of points, which was good, but the impact still wasn't there. They were better when he was off the floor. So I will say that Tyrese Halliburton was probably the best player in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, this is where we're going to really start seeing, okay, is he a superstar in the finals now? You're going up against the best team in basketball. Now it's time to put the Superman cape on and, see if you're a superstar or not. I wouldn't say he's there just yet, but he's on his way there for sure. I will say that.
I would say as a player, though, he has a few limitations that could potentially bar him from being a superstar. He does and he doesn't at the same time have the ability to take over games. He's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde type player at times where some games you'll see him just absolutely dominate. And then like in game 5 of this series, he did nothing. New York was able to limit him. He wasn't able to get his shots up. He wasn't able to really make an impact on the game. And I think a lot of those superstars, it's really hard to truly lock them down like a Giannis. You're not going to lock down a Giannis. You can hope to limit a Giannis, but you can't lock him down. And I don't think Halliburton quite has the ability at this point in his career to not get locked down, because in that game 5, he was locked down. And there's been other games, I think against Cleveland in game 3, he got locked down in that game too. He just occasionally drops a stinker, which a lot of those other superstars don't really do. So I'd put him in the all-star category for sure, but I don't think I could put him in superstar.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta if he wins this ring, if he wins this ring against the best team in the NBA, then yes. And if he wins Finals MVP, if he doesn't win Finals MVP, I'm not putting him in superstar. Okay, I can't do it because if Siakam wins it, which is very likely, because he's gonna have a big role. Probably the biggest role in my opinion throughout this series, because him against Jay Williams, who he has the size advantage on because Chet has to guard Miles Turner. I mean, I'm sure.
Who's Hartenstein going to guard?
Is Hartenstein starting?
He's not a starter. It's going to be Chet.
Yeah. I thought he usually started for them.
He might do the matchups. I mean, but they don't have like a set center off the bench besides Jalen Williams, who's 6'8", 6'9", who's very undersized. So, I mean, they could go Shea, Jay Will, Dort, Chet, and then Hardenstein. That'd be a great starting lineup to kind of match up with Siakam and Turner.
I would say Siakam is the most important player in the series if Tyrese Halliburton's gameplay from what we've seen in the past. Think about
it, bro. He's getting guarded by Shea, so like
that's exactly what I'm saying. That's why he's very important.
There's a chance he gets locked down.
If he goes off and does what he was doing the entire series with the Knicks, they could win in 6. They could win in 6 games against the best team in basketball.
I think it's a lot tougher, though, in this series for him to be able to do that, just because OKC is so much better of a defensive team than the Knicks were.
We'll see. I mean, Rick Carlisle,
I think
he ain't won a championship for no reason against the LeBron James team. So
I'll say this: if Pacers win, it'll be in 7. I don't think it'll be less than that. I'll be honest with you, because there's no way OKC's not getting 3 games out of them. Okay, and if the Thunder win, I think it'll be less than 7. I think it'll be 5 or 6. And I don't know. I just think that's more realistic. I don't think the Pacers can win that series at less than 7. I think they have to take it back to OKC and win that way, which would be a great finals, by the way. That'd be a great game 7. We don't see many of those in the finals at all, really. The last game 7 was 2016, and you know what happened then. And before that, I don't think there was one. I think that was the only game 7. No. Maybe. I don't remember. I have to look back. But I think that's the most influential game 7, I should say, in the finals. So I think the Pacers have to win in 7, and the Thunder will probably, if they win, 5 or 6. I don't think it'll go to 7 if they win. So
if it does go to a game 7, then
if it goes to game 7, it's win or go home. You can pick anybody then. I won't even be mad if you pick the Pacers.
Yeah, if it is a game 7, then that means the Pacers were playing out of this world in that series.
Right. Which is very likely because their offense is ridiculous.
But they pretty much got their backs against the wall in this series, though. I think OKC takes it in 5. I think, like you said, Nas, if Indy wins, it's going to be in 7. However, I just don't think they match up well with this team at all, just in any real sense of the word. If you go player by player, I think Hallie's going to get limited at least by Shea.
or Dort.
And then the Dortcher Chamber is going to lock down whoever he guards.
Yeah.
Jay Will is going to lock down whoever he guards out of the Neesmith and Nembhard duo. I think those two are going to really be limited. Chet's going to – he doesn't have the interior presence necessarily on defense, or he does, but he doesn't. He doesn't have the physicality nearly as much. He can block shots like no one's business. But I think they might – I think what the Pacers might do right off the bat is try and target Hartenstein, put Turner back out on the perimeter again, kind of like what they did with Brook Lopez in the Bucks series. But game one's going to tell us a lot, I think, in this series too. But I really don't see a way, at least at this point, before watching any of the games, that Indy wins this series.
Look, man,
Neesmith's defense is incredible. If he does what he does,
he is good.
At least he's not going to take him out of the series. But if he just if he keeps Shea, I wouldn't say like
I don't know about him.
I wouldn't say like keep him like underperformed or whatever, or hold him down. Like he's going to get his. But if it's not efficient, like Brunson's was, Pacers can win this. The Pacers can win this series, bro.
You know what I think they're going to try to do? I'll give you like this deep analysis of like how I watched the game a little bit. So during the Timberwolves series, when the game that the Timberwolves won, Jaden McDaniels was on Shea trying to peel off of him as much as possible to give, like, say Shea's getting the ball, walking the dog up a little bit, right? Jaden McDaniels would sprint back past half court to the top of the key to make sure Shea didn't get to his spot, but also leave him a little bit of space, because if you pinch on him, he's gonna run right by you and get a layup or a foul. So you can't guard him really, right? So what I think the Pacers are gonna do is try to do that first game with maybe Hallie or maybe Naismith, like you said. And I don't think it's gonna work, because in Game 5 against when the Thunder played the Timberwolves, it didn't work very well at all. They got blown out. So I think they're gonna try that defensive scheme of giving Shea all the space in the world, because he's gonna get any foul he wants probably. But I don't think it's gonna pan out. I think they're gonna have to figure out some other defensive mechanism to kind of stop him and guard him, because he knows how to get to the line pretty well, but it's going to be tough. And I think Jay Will is going to have a significant role as a number two. I don't know exactly who's going to guard him yet. Maybe Hallie. But again, Hallie doesn't have the best defense in the world. He tries. He has great effort, but you know, it's gonna take a lot to stop that team. And I don't know if they have all the pieces to do it yet. But Siakam, I think, is going to have a great series regardless. Everyone else, it's going to be up in the air offensively for sure.
The biggest thing for Indy is – go ahead, Jalen.
The way McDaniels played defense on Shea was he tried to use his length a lot. So he would go under the screen. He would try to –
Yeah, he didn't work very much. Every time he used
that
–
he tried to use his length instead of being up in his grill, for real.
You couldn't be up in his grill because of a foul. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in his grill, he'll peel off of you. And then when you're in his hip and you put a hand on him, he'll bump into you, foul every time. I've noticed it every single game that they played against each other. And the Jaden McDaniels on, that's exactly what happened. If you have a lengthy dude on you, you're more likely to get a foul because they're the same height. And you know, it shows it's a little more obvious when it's a foul when you're like the same length, same height, all that. So that's
Neesmith, I think, he may be undersized a little bit.
He'll be interesting. Yeah,
he's a lot smaller and a lot more agile than McDaniels was.
So he can get in front easier. So
yeah,
it'd
be very interesting to see that matchup play out, though.
I think the biggest concern for Indy is that OKC might be one of the only teams in the entire NBA that can match them in terms of fast breaks.
Oh yeah.
One of the biggest things for Indy through the entire postseason, and against the Knicks, it was there and evident too, and against the Bucks especially, was that they were just able to dominate fast break points, and that was really the key for them to win that series. I want to say it was like 122-40 were the fast break points between Indy and New York in that series. And if OKC can match that, Indy's gonna have to find a way to score when the game is a bit slower, because if they're not going to be able to speed OKC up like they've been able to do with a lot of the other teams that they've faced against so far, they're going to have a tough time winning, because that's been their X factor, and they haven't really been able to win nearly as much when the game is more in a half-court set.
And before we wrap up real quick, I got two things left. 29-1 against East teams, Just so everyone, 29-1, the Thunder are against these teams, and that's going to show a lot in this series if they can keep that consistency with that record. And like you were saying, Chris, on the fast break, they haven't played anyone who could really keep up with them because they're all so young. The Bucks we're the oldest team in the NBA. The Cavs were hurt, and Donovan Mitchell can't guard everyone at once, And the Knicks, I just think they got outcoached. They weren't really prepared for how fast Indy was going to play. And I mean, granted, I think they still should have won game one. They didn't. So that's it. It sucks to say that because, I wanted the Knicks to win, but it is what it is. And then another thing, my last thing is that the Pacers have won every single game one in this playoff so far. If they lose game one, how will they respond? How will they respond to the next game? That is my biggest thing. If they lose Thursday, how will they respond on Saturday or Sunday whenever they play next?
The Pacers have been great at responding to losses. They're undefeated off losses in this postseason. Against the Bucks, they won game 4 convincingly. Against the Cavs, they won game 4 convincingly. And against the Knicks, after both losses, they won convincingly. So they're a resilient team, if nothing else, and they never give up. And we've talked about that before, too. So if there's anything going for them, it's the fact that they bounce back really well off losses and they never quit.
That's the thing, though, bro. They'll lose like game 2 or 3. And then they'll bounce back. But game 1 is the most important game, in my opinion. Especially, setting the tone of the series is the most important thing for me. And if you lose that game, does that set the tone for you? How do you respond? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at. But I completely agree with what you said, though. They lose, they bounce back, but we don't know how they'll respond after game 1. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. So Carlisle used his whole bench all year, and that's what really helped them a lot. The Pacers are the 4th seed to reach the NBA Finals since the playoffs expanded in 1984, joining the 2005 the 06 Mavericks, the 10 Celtics, and the 18 Cavaliers. Could be the first 14 to win in this span. So, they're chasing something that's pretty that hasn't been done a lot. We got the updated bracket. Obviously, Pacers, Thunder, Finals.
Real quick, bro, who are y'all most disappointed in looking at this? Like, who are y'all? Like, I'm most disappointed in the Lakers personally. I thought they were gonna.
That was my pick too.
Like,
I'm more disappointed in the Cavs. I thought I would have seen I thought I would have seen a better fight for that, but
I think the Clippers were another bit of a disappointment. I thought they were going to be
good, though, man.
Even after game 1, I was still confident that they'd win that series, and they rolled over and died in game 7.
James Harden,
if I really had to choose,
I think Lakers.
I was thinking about the Warriors, but I think I'm gonna have to go Bucks.
Warriors got hurt though, man. Yeah, I'm disappointed in the Bucks too, but they also got hurt. I don't know. I feel like the Lakers just were healthy and they just didn't play good at all. So
I mean, the Bucks are another one of those teams, though, where you could argue that series might go 7. I think if they get it back to Milwaukee for game 6, and part of it was just Doc not knowing how to rotate his players right in that series. He played Brook and Kyle Kuzma far too much in those first few games. Got behind really early. I think if he just rolled with the lineup that he was going with in game 5, they had a much better chance of competing in that series.
I agree. Starting KP.
My disappointment, I was going to say the Celtics, but Tatum got hurt, was the Timberwolves. I thought I would have seen a better fight than the Thunder.
That's a good one. I mean, Ant just didn't show up. I mean, he did. I wouldn't even say he didn't show up. I just think that's the only player that they had to worry about. You know what I'm saying?
Get gentlemen swept, I didn't see that coming at all. And then every loss they had, they lost by double badly. They lost badly in the majority of the losses they had. So it's like you just got strictly outplayed. There were really no adjustments for real that I seen. It's like,
well, that's the thing, bro. You can't really make adjustments when nobody's making shots. Like Julius Randle would.
Oh my goodness.
Rudy Gobert has no offensive presence, which is ridiculous to me.
When it comes to a series being a letdown, I think that one might have taken the cake specifically just because there was one competitive game out of the 5. Game 1, blowout. Game 2, blowout. Game 3, even more of a blowout, but the other way. Game 4, the one close game. Game 5, oh my goodness, it was over in the first quarter.
Jeez, man. I agree with that. That might be the most disappointing one, realistically, because Ant did everything he could. I don't think he had a bad series whatsoever.
No, Ant did majority everything he could, like any superstar would.
He was putting up 28, 26, 30. You know, the game they won, he put up, 30-something? I mean, you just need to get him some help. He does need to I saw some online. I forget who was saying this, but a whole bunch of ex NBA players were saying like, you need to have a post game, bro. You need to have that mid range. I low-key kind of agree. He developed his three because of the Olympics. He was around KD and Steph a lot. Now this summer, you already got the 3-point package, bro. You got the dunks, you got the layups, you can finish. Where's that mid range? You know, Giannis even got it. You can make it. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's got to get, you know, all around presence better on offense, and he'll be straight next year because that mid range is deadly. That'll make him unstoppable because he can shoot from anywhere. Then, you know, so.
Yeah, so we'll jump into our next topic, which is the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, we got a repeat. Florida headed to the fight for, they're headed to fight for Lord Stanley as they defeated the Carolina Hurricanes 5-3 to head to the finals. While Edmonton goes up 3-1 on Dallas, and they just absolutely took it. I mean, the Stars just flopped. The rematch, well, it's happening. So will the Oilers actually go back now and actually win it this time? Because it seems like they have, the home court, the home ice advantage. It's the sixth straight season that Florida is heading to the Stanley Lightning, where the other three before the Panthers are.
Give me Panthers in 5.
I was gonna say Oilers in 7.
Crazy. I'm over exaggerating. I'm doing Panthers in 6, but Oilers are going to be a very big challenge. Like you were saying, their on the ice presence is ridiculous, especially in the Oilers Stadium, and that's going to be a tough place to play. But Florida, we've said this all playoffs. Going to Florida when they came back, I think it was round 2. They came back against Toronto, the Leafs. It was. I mean, what can you do against Florida? In Florida, it's going to be so hard to play there.
Toronto Maple Leafs,
right? Yeah, Toronto Maple Leafs. Whatever, screw them. But Florida. I'm telling you, going to Florida is going to be the hardest thing ever. I don't care what team it is. They take that stuff very serious down there, and I'm excited to see what they do out of this. This is my favorite team in hockey, by the way. So. Them and then the Stars. I'm disappointed in the Stars, but I love the Panthers. I'm excited to see what they do, and I got them in 6.
I mean, these are far and away the 2 hottest teams in the
Absolutely.
NHL. Both obviously deserve to be here after resounding wins in their series. They're both so hot both on offense and on defense, and that's the toughest part on predicting this, because the Stars were able to put up 6 goals in Game 1 against the Oilers. But after that, the offense kind of disappeared. The Edmonton locked in, were able to get the stops, had really good goaltending out of Skinner. And then in the East, it was just domination from start to finish pretty much for Florida. They never looked back in that series. They had one game where they struggled, but other than that, it was just blowout, blowout, blowout. And that's what makes it so tough to predict. We saw this matchup last year, but Florida also made some good moves in terms of adding Marchand at the trade deadline this year. So it's going to be so hard to predict, but I got Oilers in 7 specifically just because of home ice.
Yeah, it's actually insane to say because I don't know if we jinxed Ottinger, but
both him and Hallebuck really struggled.
Yeah,
this postseason.
Yeah, he got pulled.
He got pulled bad, bro. That was bad.
I think what was it? I think in Game 5, I think it was.
Game 5. Yeah,
he got pulled, and in Game 6, did they go to 6 games? No, they went only 5.
Both were 4-1.
Yep.
So in Game 5, he got pulled, and then in Game 4, he got pulled. This is supposed to be one of the best goaltenders in the league, like Connor Hallebuck, and those 2 goalies did not step up. They did not play well.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point in time, is it a curse that you receive the best goaltender award of the year, and then you just come back the next season and just flop out?
It's the Madden curse, bro. It's the same thing. You get that title, you get that recognition, you just trash next year. I don't know what it is. He's not even trash. this slump is just very unusual. You know what I mean?
Some people are built for the playoffs. Like
I think
Tyrese
some of it is
Haliburton, and some
mental
people
too.
aren't.
It's all in your head. Like being soccer and hockey are kind of that same way with goalkeeping and goaltending. It's all in your head because if you start overthinking everything, when the game comes naturally is when you're going to play the best. If you start overthinking everything, start getting in your own head, that's when the struggles really start to come out.
Yeah, I mean, some like we like you said, the Madden curse will with the MVPs in like baseball and basketball and NFL. They come back the next season and play well again. And I don't know what it is with the NHL, but they have the best goaltender award, and it's like they come and when the playoffs come back again, they just flop.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, we've seen Steph Curry do it many times. He won the MVP and came back in the next postseason and played fantastic. LeBron did it. Jordan did it. Shohei Ohtani is about to do it. He had 2 back-to-back MVPs, and last year he won MVP and went to the postseason and played well. Didn't really play well in the World Series, but
the whole playoffs though, he was on fire.
Playoffs, he was on fire. I mean, I don't know. I think
some people, like you said, some people are made for it, some people are not.
Like some people are made for big moments, and some people aren't. So,
right.
So, I'm gonna look at this part one more time. Stanley Cup final, Florida, Edmonton. Then you had McDavid. He got, he had 2 goals, I believe. What was it in Game 5 when they won the series against Dallas? So he had 2 goals. So he's arrived and at the perfect time as well when you think about it, because now you're going into the finals and now you're about to play one of the East best team, and he's coming off of a 2-goal game or so, and he's been a big factor all series. Even though he wasn't scoring, he was still showing his presence on the ice was felt. He was assisting, he was cross checking people and things like that. So
I know he struggled in the series against Florida last year. A lot of what they did, I believe, was not with him. And especially in Game 7, he was kind of invisible from what I remember. So this Oilers team might have to get used to him not producing nearly as much, but they've been able to do that throughout the postseason. He had a bit of a cold stretch in the end of the first round, early second round. So I think this might be the deepest Oilers team we've seen so far, and that's what's going to be so tough for Florida.
Hey, real quick, breaking news. Report: Kevin Durant is expected to be traded before the 2025 NBA draft, which takes place on June 25th, which is a few weeks from now.
Kevin Durant?
Yes. KD.
Wow.
Can't say I'm really shocked about that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I can't.
That Phoenix team has been a disaster these last few years.
Bro, trade Devin Booker, bro. I'm getting sick of people saying certain people are better than Devin Booker. No, they are not. Devin Booker is a top 3 shooting guard in the league for me. I understand the team that he's on is not doing him justice. Please, for the love of God, trade this man to someone from somewhere he can still shine. I know Phoenix. Listen, you're talking to the Phoenix guy. Phoenix is a beautiful place. It is all Devin Booker, all Kyler Murray, all Diamondback. Like, they love their sports team. But Devin Booker's got to get out of there, man. It's time. As much as I hate to say it, because I love Phoenix so much, it's one of the best cities I've ever been to. But Devin Booker, you got to go, man. I wanted him to leave for the better of his career, because it's getting wasted at this point.
I think the Suns are just in like a curse too. Like,
they did him dirty though, bro. They traded all the young pieces away. He was leading that team. Like, traded Chris Paul, which I don't think was necessary. Like, it's rough, man.
Well, you got people in your ear talking about go get Kevin Durant, and obviously he's one of the best players in basketball, but you don't trade your whole future, and you don't trade up your whole roster for an aging superstar. Like, he's aging. It's not like he's getting younger. He's aging. He's getting older. Yes,
he's still playing at a high level, but
yeah, but
he's still playing at a high level.
Who says he's going to keep that up any longer? And then that Bradley Beal deal was just an albatross. I
don't even know why they did that. That was crazy to begin with. Like, I wouldn't even accept that contract. That contract is too high for a player of his caliber at this moment. Like, he's not the same player as he was. Even when he was with Washington and he had the first 2 seasons, I think, of that deal, it was not that great. So it's like, I wouldn't take that money on for nothing. Washington would just have to eat it.
Look, man, somebody's gonna trade for him and gut their old team because they think he's gonna get them a championship, and it's not gonna happen because he is proven to not be able to do it by himself. And although he was gonna win 3 Finals MVPs in a row when he was on the Warriors, because he was on pace for that in 2019, averaging 34, 6, and 6 or something like that. Crazy stats. Then he got hurt, but by himself, he's done absolutely nothing besides win an MVP, which LeBron should have won. So that's all I gotta say about that. Love Kevin Durant, but it's unfortunate that we got to go over this one more time before he's probably retired.
Not
I mean,
really.
the real question is, who's going to go and get him?
You'd be surprised.
We'll talk about this for maybe like 2 seconds. The NCAA regionals. All I wanted to say was that Vanderbilt had lost to Wright State and Texas falls to UTSA. So this is like the first time, I believe, since like 2015, I think, we're the number 1 team and the number 1 nationally ranked team and the number 2 nationally ranked team gets bounced in the same tourney before even reaching super regionals. And I think Vanderbilt is the first number 1 overall team in the country to not reach the regional final, not the super regional final. How about the SEC and the Ole Miss losing to Murray State last night, which was insane?
I mean, it just means more. It just means more.
And actually, I think it actually means that. I think that saying is actually true for the whole like NCAA baseball or NCAA sports, because with NIL, talent is starting to spread out. It's not like you're keeping the same guy. Like, look at what is it? I think his name was some Liam something with Tennessee. He was at Ole Miss last year, and he was literally at Ole Miss last season. He walked. I was about to say free agency. He walked in the offseason and he went to go sign with Tennessee, transferred to Tennessee. And well, when you look at Ole Miss and how they played this past tournament, they could have used a guy like Liam as a starting pitcher. So it's like the NIL is really starting to make an impact on all college sports. I mean, you're not having just all the big time people going to the SEC, or the ACC. They're starting to spread out.
I would argue this is kind of the opposite of how basketball was, if that's the case, because basketball was chalk pretty much the whole way through the tournament. The best teams were the ones that made it the furthest. And baseball, it seems like a lot of the best teams are struggling. Like Murray State was able to get through the super regionals. I forget who beat Vanderbilt, but someone beat them too.
Right.
Little Rock gave LSU a bit of a scare last night early in that game too. They were up 5-1 in the 4th inning.
Yeah, I mean, if it did, Little Rock had won, not last night, but the night before. What was it? They won Sunday night to force the game on Monday at LSU in their park. So it's like baseball is that one sport to where you don't need to have all the 5-star players to be considered great.
Well, baseball is such a crapshoot. It's all about who's hot at the right time.
Yep.
And we see that in the D3 regionals with Whitewater having to play against a school who was ranked 48th in the country coming into the tournament. But it was all just about, I forgot the Messiah getting hot, and now the Warhawks are in the national championship against a team who wasn't even in the top 25.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're going against Messiah. I mean, last year the Warhawks lost to Mr. Recordia.
Yeah, I remember that. That was interesting.
They lost to them in 3 games. They lost two out of 3 to Mr. Recordia for them to win their first ever national championship. And now they're in the same position again, playing another school, playing for their first national championship.
This has choke,
like deja vu all over again.
This has choke written all over it, man. I feel like this is one of those things where you make it back-to-back years and then you're just hyped, and then that lesser team just beats you because you have so much hype. it fuels that other team, bro. It has choke off.
And you could also say the opposite about this Whitewater team from last year because they beat the school that didn't exist in a walk-off. That was the team that everyone was rooting for. Everyone wanted them to win the whole thing. And
Well, if you think about it, that was an elimination game for Whitewater too. If they would have lost that, they would have been headed home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and they were getting trounced. They just came back, Sam Payton and played well. I mean, this feels like deja vu again. Like they're playing against a team that's going for their first national championship, and they play the exact same way as Misericordia did last year. They play small ball, they bunt, they hit, and they pitch well.
Jalen, didn't you weren't you when did you play for the team, or did you not here in Whitewater? I forget.
I played for about a semester before I went to play at the club team. So when I first got here, I was with those guys and things like that. And then I went to go play for the club team, I think the same season at like February or so, because he was making cuts, which I didn't understand. Because when I came here, he said, I'm thinking, yeah, you're going to have to fight for a spot. Thinking of playing time, not actually like still trying out. See, one thing about Whitewater's program is that he's trying kids out from fall all the way up until like a week before the season. So it's like you kind of messed up if you make it to the spring and then February comes, because I was actually let go on Valentine's Day. So I was feeling the love that day, but I got let go on Valentine's Day. And the crazy thing about it all is that he was still had to cut more kids when I had my meeting with him, which was insane. This is like February 14th, the season that starts like in a week and a half. So it's like you're thinking, a lot of the kids thinking, okay, this is the team, I'm going to be on it. But you're not, because there's too many people still there at practice. So he had to cut like 10 more people or 5 more people or so. I'm like,
it's crazy, man. My friend Ray was doing the same thing. He told me the same thing when we were freshman or sophomore. He wanted to be on the team, and I think he was at one point, maybe not. I think he had the same situation you did, though. All the way up to that point, he played. I think he played one season, then the next year they cut him, just because there was too many players. I didn't realize how many people wanted to play baseball at Whitewater. There's so many people that want to play. And I remember we had track practice indoors once, and they were in the middle doing these practices. I think it was their motion or something, maybe some band workouts.
Yep.
And it was just so many of them. I was like actually kind of shocked. I knew baseball was like really good for us. That's probably why so many people wanted to play. But
the thing about it all is that he recruits heavy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't know you could really do all that, though.
The way he told me,
the team is stacked too.
Yeah.
When I first came, when I came last year, 2 years ago, January of 2023, I transferred in from Millersville, a D2 program, and I came in, and they were telling me like, he brought you in. Like some kids were actually like stunned that I walked in as a new kid in January. So they was like, he's still recruiting kids, which is insane. Like they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Some people couldn't believe it. Like he's still bringing kids in, and that's insane to say because, I came from a D2. He thought, I came in from a D2. He said, let me see what he's got, probably. But what I'm thinking is when I'm coming in, I'm going to have to fight for playing time. Like I'm thinking the roster's already set. Maybe a kid got hurt. Maybe a kid got injured. Okay, now he needs another guy. So I'm like, okay, I talked to him, and I came in, and my coach talked to him, and I come in, and there's like 35, like 40 kids. I'm like, what the? Like, I'm like, there's like almost like 45 kids still there in practice. I'm like, what are we doing? Like 45 people I knew D3 didn't really have a lot of roster limits, but I knew that you can't keep all the kids. Like you try to keep a roster of like 30 and 35 and the most. It's still like 40, 45 kids there. I'm like, well, okay. I guess. And then they're saying like you're still in, like somebody's like, did he tell you? Like you're like, tell you what? Tell me what? Like you're still trying out practically. Like he has his tryouts from the fall all the way up to like a week before the season. I'm like, oh well, I'm probably not gonna make the team then, because he probably already knows who he wants. And
Right.
it's like, I mean, it's a great way to run your program, but it's kind of like it hurts a lot of kids as well because they can't play that season.
Right.
Because they can't transfer anywhere else because everyone's already got their teams and stuff. So it's like you can't go anywhere else. And but yeah, I'm just like, wow. I mean,
he's doing a great job, I guess. But
yeah, but it's
I mean,
like,
if you look at the lineup 1 to 9, all those guys hit over 300. A bunch of them hit like 15 to 20 home runs. It's an absolutely stacked team, top to bottom. Multiple guys hitting over 400. Pretty much the entire lineup hitting over 350. It's just ridiculous how good they are. And the pitching, there was a bit of questions about it, especially towards the middle of the season. They struggled a little bit. The bats got cold for a little while, but they picked it up again towards the tournament. They won 17-4 yesterday in a semifinal.
Yeah, I mean they are offensively highly powered. I still think because we lost Michael Hilker last year, and he went to Arizona, which is insane from a D3. But we lost him, and he's at Arizona like right now, so he's going to a super regional as we speak. So that goes to show you the talent that's here. And in the fall, like day one, they were telling me there was like 100 kids there. I'm like, 100? You're telling me there's 100 kids here? He said, yeah. He's like, there was I think one of the guys, I'm not gonna say no names, but he was like, there's 100 kids here, and there was 100 kids in the fall. There were like 90 some kids at day one at practice, and we all looking around like the kids that came in from the year before. They're looking around like, like what is happening? And they said after day 1, day 2, and day 3, he cut like 30, 35 of those kids after day 1. I'm like, wild. Are you kidding me?
That's insane.
Well, I can't really say get mad at that because there's like 90 kids in there.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
People. How do you even like get perspective on all those guys? Is my question. If there's 90 kids in there, it's like, I mean, football. You kind of know who you're going to be cutting off rip. Then I feel like,
yeah, he tells some kids you should redshirt, train in off season, and then come back next year. And some kids like they're not doing that. Yeah, they're not doing that. Like they want to play instantly because remember at the NCAA level, you have a time clock of how fast or how long you can play for.
And I mean, you're only there as long as you're taking classes too. So
right. So
if you're done in 4 years of school, you're not going to want to stick around for an extra year. Just, I don't want to say wasting time, but like you could be
kind of
unless you're on the team, unless you know you're on the team and you have an extra year of eligibility, you'll use it. You'll take grad courses just to say you can play one more year. But a lot of the times, if you have an extra year of eligibility, you're trying to play at the D1 level.
You're trying to move up.
You're trying to move up to D2, D1 level. So it's rare that, I mean, I don't think it's not rare, but it's hard. It's not a lot of times you see people staying 6-7 years at a D3.
I mean, I guess if you look at it, though, in a different way, the Whitewater volleyball team this year, 4 out of the 6 starters were grad students.
Yeah, some programs.
And a couple of them were transfers this year, too. And they made it, but it was clear that, like, from the jump, pretty much, that they were going to make a really deep run in the tournament, and they made it all the way to the final.
Well, that's how, if you look at Whitewater, that's how their sports are. They have a lot of older kids, and a lot of people that play are a lot of juniors and seniors. Like our sports athletic program is being ran like a D1 institution.
So this is the thing though. Track is completely different from all that. Like you can be a freshman and just run a 10-7 off the blocks.
Yeah, you know that's the difference between track and like a sport that has to deal with a ball in it.
Right. Yeah. That's the only difference.
It's like Whitewater had 1 starter in football this year that was a freshman, and he wasn't even on the depth chart week 1, but he made his way all the way up. But the majority of the football team, it's like you don't even see the field hardly until your junior year.
Even then, you might not see it.
Right. So, like, I mean, to have 90 kids in the fall is insane. And cut 30, 35 kids right off the bat, that's a lot of kids' careers here. That's why you see them transfer out the minute it happens. They try to transfer out the minute it happens. So, we'll jump into final thoughts. I mean, that was my final thought. So,
let's see. We got these images right here. What y'all think about this? Huh? What you think about? You think about this? Listen.
Yeah, I was gonna have a discussion.
I like
was gonna
that
have
one.
a discussion or a topic on that, but it was like I'll just throw it in there and use that as like miscellaneous talk or something like that. But
man, that's tough. I ain't gonna lie. This one is super tough. Like,
yeah, I have seen it. I was like, let me just throw that in there just in
Fantastic.
case for like a miscellaneous topic or something.
I might buy it just because of that. I ain't gonna lie. Like, that's tough, bro. They really didn't know how to do the marketing for the college games, but I'm really happy that they decided to go that route. They need to make the March Madness games next, bro. That's gonna be so fun.
Oh my gosh, basketball March Madness.
Man, I don't know what they're waiting on, bro. They had
it back in I think 2010, but I think
Yeah,
but
a long time ago.
it was trash though.
Well, the thing about EA is too, though, like they haven't been able to make like a good basketball game in so long. They tried again with NBA Live a couple times, and it just didn't pan out.
Bro, if you made a college basketball game, you know how many people would play that? You could literally be your own coach or athletic director, cut people, recruit people. It'd be so fun to play that, and then you can learn basketball on a better level because your players aren't as good as NBA players. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, it works. It's such a good idea, but no one wants to listen because we're fans and not in the corporation. So whatever, it is what it is. But
they listened to us when we talked about football.
Yeah.
One thing I like about the new game, that new one, is that you're gonna be able to play high school.
Yeah, bro, dude, they need to do that get some local high schools where people came from, go sign some stuff because I'm sure they want some rights to it or something, or some not rights, but some money towards their school, and it'll boost schools for basketball players. Like, you could do so many great things by having this video game. And I know people say video games aren't good for people, but bro, this is good for college football and all that stuff, bro. So that's my final thought. I thought that was great that you put that in there because I did want to talk about
that as like miscellaneous topics. Yep.
I also wanted to say that the Madden cover this year looks really good too. With
Saquon, yeah. That was tough. I'm so happy for him, but yeah, he's got the Madden curse now, unfortunately. So,
yeah, hopefully he does it. Hopefully he can break that cycle. So.
I think the closest one to break the Madden cycle was CMC because he made the Super Bowl that year. And he had a great year. He had damn near an MVP year, but he lost the Super Bowl in overtime, which I still consider a Madden curse because that's like the worst way to go out. but he was healthy that year, so I'm praying Saquon stays healthy because that Madden curse is real, man. That it is real.
My final thought is already, but Whitewater baseball, we're all alumni. At this point, got a chance to chase the national championship these next 2 days. Game 1 is today. Game 2 and 3 are tomorrow, if necessary for game 3, of course, which, knowing us and the way Whitewater athletics always goes, there'll definitely be a game 3 just because we got to raise our blood pressure as high as humanly possible. This is the last chance for an NCAA athletic team to win a national championship in my 4 years, so I'm really hoping they come through with it.
Yeah, like all of our years, they haven't won nothing.
I mean, wheelchair basketball won last year, but that's technically not an NCAA thing.
I went to the club national championship when I first got there in 2023, but yeah, I mean that was a fun ride. I got to play in Fort Wayne against some big time schools, and we beat Michigan to go to we upset the number 1 seed in Utah State, and go figure because I'm out here in Utah, so it's actually kind of pretty bitter cool to see that I beat that kind of university of kids. So yeah, so it's something to say. I mean, it's knowing Whitewater, it'll probably be a game 3, hopefully not, but I mean the way it goes, we always have our blood pressure raised, and
I mean, we've had a lot of second place finishes in our time too. Women's basketball did it once, volleyball did it once, baseball did it once, and
track does it every year.
Both basketball teams got to the Final Fours and lost. Like,
Track team got to the nationals this year by like an 8th, and they shouldn't have made it, but there was a disqualified team because they stepped in in Whitewater's lane on the 4th leg, I believe, and we made it and we kind of choked, but they still kudos to them. That's like a dream to make nationals, bro.
I'm tired of saying kudos to them, bro. I want to be like, congrats. We're
I know,
champs.
yeah.
I'm tired of
We
saying
finally did it, you know.
I know, man. But man,
I was
we don't
really
get no
rooting for-
championship gear.
I was really rooting for women's basketball and football both last year or 2 years ago when you guys were seniors, because football made it all the way to the Elite Eight
That was last year.
whatever round, the
last year.
quarterfinal.
That was
last year. They went to they had a deep run last year.
Yeah, that was
My
last
first year they went to the Final Four, I think, but last year they got bounced, I think.
year. Yeah, junior year
Yeah, Elite Eight.
men's basketball. Trayvon was leading the team with going to the Final Four, I believe. Or maybe
That team was such a fun run to watch. That
that was a crazy run, bro.
It was crazy because both women didn't women go to the Final Four too?
Women went
I think they
to
went
the Elite Eight last
yeah,
year.
they went to the Elite Eight last year. The year before, I think
My
they were,
freshman year, Jalen, I don't think you were at Whitewater yet, but
Not yet, probably not.
my sophomore
made
year,
the
they were
national
good.
championship
Yeah,
that year.
my sophomore year, they made a national championship, which is crazy. Yeah,
that was
Okay,
like
so
the
I-
post-COVID year.
Okay, I've seen them both go to, I think, the Elite Eight then for women, and then the men went to the Final Four, which was crazy because people were like, "Some dude, your first year here, your first semester here, they're the national champion."
yeah, bro.
They're going to play for the national, like they didn't play for it, but they went to the Final Four. It's like,
Yeah,
And they were up by 20 in that game too. That
man,
was
don't get me
bro,
started on. I don't want to talk about
I don't
that.
even want to talk about it, bro.
That game really made me mad, bro.
That
Like,
made me so
horrible
upset, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, mind you, this is my first time being on the campus, getting to know all the guys, and to see y'all choke like that, I'm like, dick. Like,
Man, I had to call the wheelchair basketball tournament that weekend too. So I'm just like sitting at the table waiting for that game to start, just watching the men's game, obviously on my laptop, and just watching it like get from 20 to 15 to 10 to 5, and then all of a sudden we lost.
They're up 15
Oh
at the end of the
my
game.
gosh.
I'm like, what happened, bro? I don't even want to talk about it. Bro.
we don't want to talk about it. We're gonna leave that there. I mean, our sorrows of being alum is not like everybody else. Everybody else gets to win championships while ours get there and we just lose. And
Bottom line is baseball, just take care of business these next few days. Go Hawks.
Yep. So with that, we come to the end of the show. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Follow our podcast page on other platforms. The links are in the description box below for our Spotify, our podcast Instagram, and our podcast TikTok. We will post reels, shorts of this show. We try to do polls and question boxes, but we do interact a little bit, and you can always DM us on things you'd like to have answered or comments you may have. And, go Hawks, and we'll see you Thursday.